back. Last time we talked about who God is, that we are to become. Who God is, we have to become. And one of the things that I know that normally happen with us is that most times when we hear things, people tell you that you got to be wise, you got to be wise, you got to be wise. But sometimes it's confusing because it's not that what people are saying or what you have been told, but the ability to translate it or the ability to apply it into my life. That's the difficult thing because you can ask a 3-year-old child just to hold a steering wheel of a car and you expect him to drive safely. So it will be there will be catastrophe. So now one of the things that I want us to understand that a about God is that everything is feasible in His Scripture, everything is feasible in His book, and but most times maybe we don't have the ability or we lack the understanding of who God is Himself, and we cannot actually bring these things into reality of how to practicalize these things in our life. So last time I said that about who God is, that God is wise. Then He wants us to become wise because that is His nature, that is His character. So everything about the character of God wants us to become, not just to be an imitation, but to be who God is. That's the reason why He brought us here. So there's no reason why He created us here. So the first thing that you should know, and before you can say that you are actually growing the knowledge in the wisdom of God, or maybe you want to have wisdom of God, then you got to have the ability to reason. Your reasoning is number one. So I'm going to talk about being reasonable this morning, to reason. In the book of Acts 17:17, it was written there. So he reasoned in the synagogue with the Jews and the devout persons and in the marketplace every day with those who happen to be there. If you hear that word again, he reasoned in the synagogue. The concept of wisdom start from reasoning, because let us ask ourselves this question: why would God give us a brain? Why we God give us a brain? The reason why we have so many difficulties today to relate with other people, especially when it comes to the wisdom, or you want to let them understand what is there, because we are not ready to reason with people. So even Jesus Christ reasoned with people. God, he said in the book in the Old Testament, he said, "Come, let us reason together." So for people to grow in wisdom, for you to grow in wisdom as a father, for you to grow in wisdom as a mom, for you to grow in wisdom as a leader, for you to grow in wisdom, whatever you do in your business, you must first come to the place of being reasonable. God give us this brain. There are aspects of prayer. There are aspects of fasting. There are aspects of reading. But if I read and I don't reason with what I read, then it becomes something that can cause damage for me. I might interpret it in different ways. Like I said the last time, the wisdom of the prodigal son, he came and he says, he reasoned and he looked like, hold on, I'm better than this. So the first thing that we should know is that we need to reason. That's the first step to develop in wisdom. You need to reason. If you look at very well, many people, many of us who went to university to go and study PhD in medicine, theology, engineering. So they give you a presentation, they give you a book that you don't even know many years ago. And they gave you that you should argue about it. You should do a research. You argue with this research. By a research, you reason, and you can reason. Likewise, when it comes to God, many people just assume, they just say because God said we should be wise and everything. We never sit down and say, hold on, what I know before, what I've known many years, can I just put it on the table and reason with it? And look, because you cannot grow in wisdom when you don't have something to compare things with. What you've known can be rigidity because you've known this thing for many years. So for you to grow in wisdom, for you to move away from where you are and to progress in life in the wisdom of God, we need first to sit down and reason. Reason is the first antidote. Reason is one of the first indices for a wisdom. A man who doesn't reason with other people, you can never grow in wisdom, or you become a dictator, or you become an authoritarian because you think, you in your brain, you think that everything that you know is the final straw. And this is why we see many organization has been destroyed. We see in many organizations people fear the leaders than God because you see in many organizations people doesn't want to relate. This is why many of us we are failing in our relationship because we impose our thoughts. We impose everything that we know on people without allow them to reason with us. How can your children becomes what God want them to be? Because when you don't allow them to reason with you, everything you say you have, there's no room for them even to talk with you. So dialogue comes with reasonable. So you got to reason. This is an apostle in the temple. He said he reasoned with them. Why is he reasoning with them? Why did he not just go there and tell them you must do this? If you don't do this, then you are going to be doomed. So the ability, and if you don't have this ability, this is why James says, if any one of you lack wisdom, then he said, come to the Lord. One of the things to come to the Lord is to come to the reason. We must develop this reasoning ability. We must be able to say, okay, I'm reasoning with people. I must be reasoning with people that followed me. I must be able to reason with my wife. I must be able to reason with my children. So when you are develop this skill, automatically you discover that your wisdom started growing because sometimes when you reason with people, what you know might become invalid. It might become invalid. It might become outdated. You can think, oh, wow, I didn't know this. Oh, this is what this guy is trying to tell me. This guy is trying to say. Because you come to the ability to reason. And there's a story in the Bible. Nabal, I think maybe you can relate with it. David was going to kill him. But the wife of Nabal, Abigail, met David on the way. And she knelt down and said, look, do not kill my husband. Do not kill him. You know, if you kill him, his blood will be on your head. But this woman present a reasonable argument before David. And David refused to kill the husband. David listened to this woman. How many of us today have the skill to listen to the other people to reason with them? How many leaders have the skill to listen to the other people? How many young people that we have taken away out of our sight because we don't want to listen to them? How many group of people that surround you that they've decided to leave your organization. They've decided to leave you because you are not ready to reason because you think that you just know everything. So the first condition to develop in the wisdom of God and to be who God has made us to be wise as Him, is the ability to say, look, you don't know everything. You must be ready to reason with them. Okay, look, another example. When God wanted to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, He consulted Abraham. This is God that created us. This is God is in humanity. He consulted, will I do anything without first tell Abraham, my friend Abraham? Many of us, we are actually become God to other people because we don't want to consult. We don't want to dialogue. We don't want to talk to people. We just make decisions and we want everybody just to follow us. That is not wisdom. That is foolishness. This is why many people, you think people hate you. It's not because they didn't hate you. It's because most of your decision is based on authoritarian and dictatorial type of leadership. So when you look at it and apply it to your family, if God can speak to Abraham and Abraham can have a dialogue, negotiate with God. God, look at God. If you find 10 people there, if you find 5 people there, do you know how many of us, God himself could listen to Abraham and he can actually talk to humanity. He reasoned with Abraham. How come today we cannot reason with people? How come today you cannot reason with your daughter? How come today you cannot reason with your sisters? How come today you cannot reason with your leaders? How come today you cannot reason with your household? Because you have this block in our brain that we thought we know everything. Go back to the book of James. He said, if any one of you lack wisdom, come, ask, and he will give liberally. So the first condition to develop is the wisdom in every area, whether business, in the church, fellowship, wherever God has placed you to be. The first thing is the ability to reason with people. And besides you reason with people, you discover that your wisdom started growing up, 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 up. Then the next video, we're going to talk about the second step of how do we develop in the wisdom of God. Thank you.